Okay guys, so why AngularJS? We know some of the drawbacks common to most of the JavaScript frameworks. We write most of the code for querying the DOM, setting up event binding, and repaint of the DOM on certain events. Our UI and application logic are so tightly coupled that we can't test the application logic separately. AngularJS takes care of all the DOM querying and event handling code. This allows the code base to reduce drastically and developers can focus on the business logic and presentation. It supports test-driven development and allows dynamic DOM behavior to be included in the HTML markup declaratively. One of the most powerful and useful feature of AngularJS is directives. Directives allows you to extend the HTML vocabulary that can encapsulate both the view and behavior of the UI component. AngularJS team states that HTML is designed for static pages and not for the dynamic applications. As we don't have this flexibility of dynamic applications, JavaScript framework have evolved to fill the gap, like jQuery. jQuery helps us in querying the DOM, binding, and listening for the user and browser events, and then imperatively updating or repainting the DOM in response to the new data. This works great when applications are small. But for large web applications, this boilerplate coding can add piles of lines of code, which is unnecessary. AngularJS removes this boilerplate code and let the developer focus on the business logic of the application. The best way to understand how we develop application using imperative approach in jQuery and how we can convert the same code to AngularJS declarative approach is going to the example, right? So I want to start with the jQuery imperative approach first. So I have created a sample code in jQuery, what it does. So let's run and compare. So you can see I have created a form having a label of your name and a text input element to enter your name. So whatever I'm going to enter in this text input is going to get printed here in this paragraph. How? You can see I'm listening for this text input key press event here in my script block. Then inside this timeout function, I'm taking the value typed in the text input and printing it to the paragraph element. So you can see as I type something here in my text input, it's getting painted in the paragraph below the text input. Simple, right? Now let's move on to the AngularJS version. You can see I'm having a very similar form here as well, but with the custom attributes like this ng model and this double curlies used for binding. Can you notice something missing here? Yes, there is no script block. So let's run this and understand. So you can see here also when I type something in this text input, I'm getting the same text here in my paragraph. So what's happening here? And how this text is coming in this paragraph without writing a single line of script. A bit surprising, right? So let's compare our jQuery and AngularJS version side by side. This is working because using AngularJS directive called ng model. And this model is bound to this paragraph using double curlies. So whatever I type here inside, this text input gets written here in my paragraph. So all of the DOM access code has been abstracted away here inside this directive. Or I can say it has been encapsulated inside this directive. So my jQuery version is using imperative approach. That's called step-by-step approach to achieve a particular task. And my Angular version is declarative. Look at this code. It's so expressive. And it drastically reduces the size of your code as we don't need to care about boilerplate coding. I mean DOM access code and event handling code. The presentation can be managed declaratively in the HTML file itself and no need of imperative coding as we do in jQuery. As AngularJS encourages functional programming and dependency injection, test-driven development takes almost no extra time. And tests have a higher degree of validity and reliability. Code sharing is easy through modules and easy to integrate as well. AngularJS can be used in any part of the page, even if another framework exists. Now you know why it's popular, right?